tired of the fact that you didn't make Pokemon Go yourself? Well, here comes Hopscotch to save the day. Get ready to make Pokemon Go! So all you're going to need in this game is a Pokeball and the Pokemon of your choice. There are going to be 5 basic interactions that'll help you code. The Pokemon moves back and forth. The Pokeball moves up when you swipe up. If the ball hits the creature is caught. And if the ball misses, then it comes back to the original position. If you ever get stuck or confused, just pause this video and rewind it. Note that I'm making my game on an iPhone. The blocks are exactly the same on the iPad, just bigger. Here we are in the editor. And the first thing we're going to do is add our Pokemon. To do this, tap on the gray plus button on the bottom of the stage. Since we're creating our own Pokemon, tap on the new image square on the left. You can choose any picture in your camera roll to become your Pokemon, including your own drawings. Remember, you can always change it later, so you don't have to spend an hour on this step. So if you have any questions about how to get the right pictures in your camera roll, there will be videos on Hopscotch's YouTube that can help you with that. Also, if you're using the free version of Hopscotch, you won't have access to your own pictures, but you can use our characters and shapes from our library. So I'm going to choose this picture of Ponyta, which is actually pixel art by Cuckoo Raccoon. Then tap the green button when you've picked your picture, and here are our shapes to crop. So I'm going to pick this square, and I'm just going to move my picture and then make it bigger by pinching out with my fingers until it's what I want. Great. If you pick a picture from the internet, try to pick a picture with a transparent background. I'm using a picture with a white background because the background in my game is going to be white. So let's bring this thing to life. So tap on this Pokemon and then move it over here on kind of the top middle of the page. And now let's add our Pokeball. So tap on the gray plus button again and tap on new image again. And I'm going to pick a Pokeball. If you don't have a picture of a Pokeball on your phone already and you don't know how to get one, then there will be videos on YouTube that'll help you with that. Or you could just use a ball from our shapes section. It's up to you. And I'm going to press the green button. And now I'm going to use the circular cropping tool and make it so that the ball is just the same size as the cropping. Alright, there we go. Then I'm going to press the green button to say OK. Then I'm going to tap on that, and now it's on the stage too. And I'm going to move it down right here to the bottom middle. But make sure not to put it in the trash. If you see that cloud, that means you're about to delete it. So let's make our first interaction, which is that the Pokeball will move up when I swipe up on the screen. So tap on Add Code for your Pokeball, and this is where we can give it rules. So this blue block pertains to all the rules for the Pokeball, and this blue block pertains to all the Ponyta rules. So you see this blinking green cursor? That's where the blocks you pick down here will end up. So first we got to choose when the Pokeball moves. And we want it to move when we swipe up. So let's scroll down here until we find is swiped up and press on it. So this means that whatever we write in here will happen when we swipe up on the Pokeball, which is exactly what we want. So now we want to move up. And the way to get it to move is we have to scroll all the way to the red blocks, which are the move blocks. And then we're going to pick change Y by. The Y refers to the Pokeball's Y position, or how high up it is on the screen. So we want it to increase. So we want it to move all the way up to the top of the screen. And so let's plug in 400 and see what happens by pressing on the green arrow on the top right corner, which shows us our game. So if I swipe up, cool, so 400 wasn't enough. So let's go back to edit by tapping on this edit button in the top right corner. So let's try, you can actually delete in the bottom right corner with the delete button. Let's try 600. And if you're using an iPad, because its screen is even bigger, you might want to try an even bigger number. You should play around and see what works. Swipe up. Cool, but nothing happens to the Pokemon when the ball touches it. So let's change that. So tap on the edit button in the top right corner of your screen. And as I said, there are 2 blocks here. The blue one for Pokeball, this is where all its rules are, and then the one for Ponyta. So let's tap inside here, and now we can make rules for our Pokemon. So the first thing we want is that when the ball touches the Pokemon, we want the Pokemon to disappear. So we have to pick the right when. Can you figure it out? So we're going to scroll until we find bumps. So let's tap on bumps and make sure it shows up in the Ponyta's rules. And then let's pick the two things that are bumping. So tap on the first bubble in the when, pick your Pokemon, and then tap on the second bubble and pick the Pokeball. So now when the Pokeball bumps into Ponyta, we're going to have something happen in here. So tap in here, and now let's have Ponyta disappear. So scroll until you find the green blocks, which are about appearances, and let's pick Set Invisibility. And let's set invisibility to 100, which means completely invisible. So tap 1, 0, 0. And let's see what happens now. If I swipe up, oh, it's gone. Awesome. Except this is a little bit easy, so why don't we make it harder? So tap on Edit again, and let's have it so that our Pokemon is moving left and right constantly. So tap on plus new when for your Pokemon, and then pick when game starts, because we want it to start moving immediately. And now let's scroll all the way to the right until we see the blue blocks, because we want this Pokemon to go back and forth forever. So we're going to pick repeat forever. And now inside the repeat forever, we can tell it to go back and forth. So scroll over to the red blocks again and pick change X by, which makes things go left and right. And first we're going to have it move 200 to the right. And then let's add another red block by tapping under it and scroll over to change X by again, and this time pick negative 200. And you can pick negative by tapping right here on the right, and this will make it go left. So negative 200, and let's see what happens. Cool. Okay, so those numbers weren't big enough, and this is way too fast. So let's actually X out of here on the top right, on the top left corner. There's a little X. We're back in the stage. And let's have your Pokemon start over on the left in the beginning. And now tap on C code again. And let's scroll over to that rule where it's going left and right. And let's change these numbers. So this is now going to be 400. So tap delete in the bottom right corner and then put 400 in here. And then tap on this bubble, delete, 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 and then negative 400. And because it was going so fast, let's slow it down. So let's try and tap right in between the repeat forever and the when the game starts, right here. Tap there until your cursor's there, and it says pick a block. And now let's go to the red blocks again, and let's pick set speed, and let's set it to 200. Everything starts at 400 speed, 200 is half that, so it'll be a little slower. So let's see what that looks like. Cool, and there we go. Oh, that's actually still pretty easy, but you can do a lot of different things to make it harder. You can make the Pokeball smaller, you can make the Pokeball faster, you can make Ponyta faster. There are a lot of ways to customize this. So now that we've caught our Pokemon, let's show that you won. So let's X out of here, and let's add a new object. So let's drag this ball out of the way for a second, and pick plus new object, and pick text. So let's pick this first blue block on the left, which is for text and emoji, and let's say, you win, or whatever you want to write. And let's place it right here, and what'll happen is in the beginning of the game it'll be invisible, but then when you catch your Pokemon, it will become visible, so you'll see that you won. So I'm going to add code, and I'm going to have two rules. So first, when the game starts, pick that when, so game starts, then go to the green blocks, which you can do by scrolling, and pick set invisibility and pick 100. And press check, and then pick plus new when, and say when your Pokeball bumps your Pokemon, we're going to make it visible. So go to collisions and pick bumps, and then for the first bubble pick your Pokeball. For your second bubble pick your Pokemon. Then here let's make it visible. So go to set invisibility and pick 0, which means 0% invisible. So let's see if this worked. Okay, you win is not there, but then when I swipe up, if it hits it, woo, we caught our Pokemon. Good job. So actually we can move this Pokemon back here again. So there are a lot of cool ways that you can add on to this game. You can change the background. You can make a whole slew of different things, and I can't wait to see all the cool ways that you add to this game design.